joke. Very funny.
How is
Who's the
break?
host? Just go.
Dude, we don't need a host, dude. This guy is talking like we're supposed to be the viewer.
No, but say hi. Welcome to episode 5.
Hi,
of
welcome
Plat
to episode 5 of Plat Chat. There you go.
Dude, Matt, why is your audio quality so shit?
It's actually pretty good today.
It's terrible. It's actually
I've been working on it all break.
It's terrible.
I had
just
Johnny.
his voice,
I
Bren.
had Johnny over here doing the IT for my audio.
That's not true at all.
No, Johnny was away. Just doing stuff that we'll never do, flying in planes, drinking 200-year-old wine. Like,
yeah,
he forgot about us. That's why we weren't here last week.
What do we all think of the Twitter changes?
I haven't seen them. I haven't seen them. What are they?
Bro, do you guys not go on Twitter on your desktop? Like,
yeah, but I just don't have them.
No, I don't have the updated version.
You don't have the updated version?
No.
Are me and Brennon living in the future?
I think we have to delete the cat.
Yeah, people don't like change, is what I discovered. People are not a big fan of change.
Well, I don't mind
except
change
when it's Rollock.
No, when change makes sense, I don't mind it. But this is just stupid.
Okay, I mean, I thought this was an Overwatch podcast. I've come prepped to talk about Sigma, about roll queue, all of this stuff.
Where do we want to start? Do we even want to talk about the Stage 3 final, or do we want to just talk about... Because we haven't even done one since then.
Really?
Stage 3, yeah.
I don't really feel like
final so old now with like a new...
It's old news, man.
Yeah, who cares?
Like it doesn't even matter, right?
No, I don't.
We're gonna talk about Shanghai anyway.
All right. So let's
we're not gonna be doing. There's no more stage playoffs anymore. Like nobody cares.
All right, that was a good breakdown there from Bren. Would you rather talk about Sigma first? Or you want to talk about roll queue?
Oh, let's talk Sigma immediately because roll queue's got way more stuff. But Sigma, the new hero, I don't know. There's a lot to break down with this dude.
So
there's not a ton to break down.
I think there is.
There, Jonathan reinforced Larsson.
First of all, is he even going to be a main tank? I mean, I don't see any world in which this guy's a main tank.
I don't think so either.
I don't think he's going to be played as much as people think. I'm seeing some Papega tweets from some people.
Call him out. Names.
Yeah, your Overwatch YouTube channel. This guy comes out with hot takes all the time. I'm telling you. And he's coming out of a very hot take right now, saying he's going to replace Reinhardt. I mean, I don't think Reinhardt's even going to be. I don't think Reinhardt's even going to be played. Period. Honestly. Like,
what in Stage 4 or just in 2 in general?
It's gonna be Orisa Hog and maybe some dive. Like,
I think he's got a better chance. Okay, so I think you'll have Orisa Hog comps that are like more damage oriented. Then I think you'll have these like crazy bunker comps that'll have like Sigma for a secondary shield plus Orisa in the mix, and that'll be kind of where he slots in.
That would be kind of nutty. I don't know. The guy's weird. Like when we play tested him, when we went down to Irvine, we went to the Blizzard HQ, did a bit of play testing. I haven't actually played.
Call him out, Josh.
Came out. But I'm not calling him out. Call him out. I'm just saying when we were playing him. I mean, to be fair, I will actually call out. I'll call out Wolf and Doa, who insta-locked Sigma and were so trash at it that we didn't even get an ult. We didn't even get to test the Sigma ult because they didn't even build an ultimate.
Yeah,
I don't know whether this guy has the least.
Wow, real gamers over here.
Yeah,
Bren and he screen watched.
Dude, I was pounding on Sigma. Do you remember when I locked him in? Played a game, baby. Hitting him up, getting like 3Ks. I ulted, started speaking Dutch. And then it starts playing the piano music, and then fucking lift him up, pound him down, slam him.
This is so insightful.
Yes. I saw a few different like things I saw people do today that were kind of interesting. Johnny, you'd probably like this. They were playing Sigma with a Reinhardt, and they were throwing the shield in front and then letting the Reinhardt just charge behind it, so they couldn't like do any damage to the Rein. I thought that was some cool stuff. And then I saw he can actually, I guess, eat Graviton Surge.
Yeah.
Jeff said on the broadcast with Seagull he couldn't.
No, I don't know why. I think
he is.
Yeah, I think Jeff was just thinking of a previous build or something. Because even when we went down there, we asked if he could eat ults, and they were like, "Yeah, if you hit him with an ult, he will eat the ult." It's just whatever projectile hits him, he eats.
Yeah. But like he won't eat stuff like a Doomfist punch and whatnot because it's not a
Oh, sure, that's not a projectile.
Defense Matrix doesn't.
Unless you consider the whole of Doomfist a projectile.
I saw people actually confused about that today when watching people play him on stream. That they were like, "Well, why doesn't he just suck up the Doomfist punch?"
Wait, who asked that?
I saw like loads of people in Seagull's chat like super confused when like the Sigma would use shift and then he would get Doomfist punched and he'd die. They were like, wait.
So the coolest thing I've seen is actually that you can Genji reflect the rock.
Oh, you can?
I've heard someone in my ranked game was like, I reflected the rock, and I believe him, but I might be wrong because if he's an idiot. I didn't see it myself. Allegedly.
The only thing he can't absorb is the other rock. Is like a rock from.
Oh, you can't reflect that. The guy in my ranked game, he lied. Oh no, that's terrible.
I've been testing the mechanics of his stun.
Oh.
Okay.
And if he does get played, I mean, I think there's a lot of potential there. I don't think the stun is going to be hit much because it gets blocked by shields, right? You need to hit it on an open target, so it's slow moving. But there's definitely room for people to do what they do with Ananades, where they like set up a predetermined stun. I was doing that on Hanamura today.
Yeah. And also the further, I don't know whether you guys realize, but the further it goes, the longer it stuns for. Yeah, so you can get up to like 4 second stuns.
Right,
4 seconds.
Yeah, and if you do it in like common bunker spots, you can essentially just like break open.
Hey, yo, we're throwing knives now, boys.
I don't know. His ultimate like looks awesome. It was actually like one of the more fun ultimates to use when we tested it. I just don't know how it works. Well, in a competitive match, because like he's just floating in the sky, like doing his thing. Like he can be punched, like he can be headshot. He can. Yeah, it's like almost like Raga Barrage.
Let's break it down as well. It has 2 stages. It has a channeling stage where he starts floating in the air, and then he has a stage where you actually click the button and the ult starts. The second stage can't be blocked, but if you kill him or hack him or stun him while he's in the channeling phase, while he's just floating around, it just cancels the whole ult. But if you don't have somebody like that on the team, it's so powerful. 50% of max health is an outrageous amount.
That's what I was confused when we were talking about it in person. I was like, oh, well, is it 50% of the health they currently have? But no, it's 50% of their max
health.
Wait, what?
Yes, it's a lot of damage.
Holy moly.
It's 50% of their max HP. So like if you have teammates, imagine like launching like 4 people up and then just having attack visor, everybody's dead. Regardless of whether if they live through the visor, they're gonna hit the ground. Like and just die.
Yeah. Well, it's sort of saying though, it takes some time to generate it, right? So like it's a very powerful, it's like a graviton surge, essentially.
Yeah, in fact, it's probably a better version of a graviton surge because it can't be eaten, it can't be blocked, any of that stuff. I mean, as soon as the guy presses his Q button for the second time, your team is dead.
You're right.
I mean, I don't see a way of losing unless you block the channel.
I think you could see some like, I mean, this is mega bizarre, and I don't think you'd see this in like competitive play. Maybe just in ranked, people just fucking around. But like, if the team's running like a bunker comp and you can get a Sigma ult and then TP him behind the enemy team and just get like a channel off of that on like a bunker on the high ground, can you immortality field it? No.
I actually have no. Yeah, I mean, why not?
Yeah.
There was also a weird interaction where I saw a GIF on Reddit of the guy Lucio using sound barrier in midair. So like when he's held up in the air, for some reason it equates the. They
had an issue with another ultimate that they patched. I think it was a grab or something like that.
Yeah, it must kind of raise the floor, you know? It thinks that the floor has been raised, so you can just sound barrier in midair. Yeah, as Lucio. It's very strange.
So you can rip tire as junk, right?
I don't know. I mean, maybe they'll patch it out, but I'm pretty sure you can just use anything you like apart from movement abilities. So yeah, I think you can just use.
Can you imagine the tilting of like, oh, I'm sure this is going to happen in some of our games. Josh is going to play Sigma, raise the other team, and they're going to deadeye while being raised and just murder everybody above shielding and everything.
Yeah, I could totally see that happening.
The thing is, now you said it, so Sideshow will actually do it for entertainment value, not for like actually like mistake. It will be like proper throwing.
I'll be properly tracking the McCree's ult on the other team just to do it.
They have high noon. They have high noon. Here it comes. We're all dead. Oh,
that would equally that would actually represent his 2100 placements on the PTR in terms of tank.
Oh, that's terrible. I started doing my placements this morning because I woke up at 6:45. So I started streaming at 9 a.m. and I queued and I came into a 150 ms Korean master game. and then I stopped playing.
Nice.
So
Very cool.
Very cool to do placements on 150 ping.
That's a really odd flex there, Johnny.
Yeah.
But what else do we think about Sigma?
So, I didn't get to give my thoughts, because I just
give
let you guys rant. Whatever. I think he's more of like a peeling tank. Now, I don't think that really works when you're like trying to peel. Like, the compositions I see him working is like with double sniper or whatever. But then the problem comes, why would you want to play Sigma over someone like Orisa, right? Because Orisa has way more synergy with other DPS, because you can like pull into Dragon Strike, you can pull into Hook, or whatever. Sigma doesn't have that utility. So it's more of like a brig peeling tank, because you can knock people away and stun them with a rock, and like you can absorb damage, but like it's not useful for your team. So it's super weird, and he doesn't have any movement speed, so he can't actually get into their face. I think it would be super cool if when he sucked in like health or whatever, like absorb damage like Zarya, that he got some kind of passive buff from it, that he got either more damage or more movement speed for a short duration,
rather than shielding.
Right.
I mean, so
no, like he shields and he get because like the shield
both.
doesn't do anything. It's like you're not gonna shoot that. You're not gonna get 400 health. It's not gonna happen. Like no one's gonna let him do that. So I'd rather see some kind of like passive thing to like help him and his kit overall to just be more useful. Because right now I think he's a pretty bad hero.
I think in his current state, I think he would need either, like you said, either something where he has more damage, because like his primary fire like is not like, it just doesn't feel that strong, especially when you compare it to. Well, I think Orisa is going to be like probably the tank a lot of people look to now. That's going to be like that mainstay. She pumps out so much damage. Supercharger is like, you know, you look at a lot of stats, like one of, if not the best ultimate in the game for winning team fights. Like she's a 50% damage reduction. Like he cannot offer anything close to that.
I could see him being used against dive compositions as that flex pick. Now, first of all, I just want to say as well, if this guy hadn't been introduced at the same time as Roll Lock, if he had been introduced before Roll Lock, I think would definitely see him in triple tank compositions.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah.
And that would be sick to like see. But unfortunately, we live in this world of 2-2-2 now. So I think he could be like, say you're running an Orisa Hog double sniper setup, something like that, right?
Yeah. And
the enemy team runs dive to try and break your bunker setup, and you want something that can peel, but you can't afford to run brig because you still need the healing output from your two supports. So you switch over to him because he's more of like a peely person. His E ability, the accretion, is going to be really good against kind of divey compositions, the ones that don't have shields, because you can like sync them up with, imagine halting somebody and then bashing them with the accretion and then finishing them off. I mean, that's a huge amount of CC.
Yeah.
So I can see that being like a bit of a flex role where you go from Hog over to the Sigma just to deal with the more divey heroes, and then when they swap back, you swap back yourself.
So we would compare with D.Va?
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, but then why not run D.Va? So I don't.
Exactly. It's like, we don't know yet how it's going to look, but I'm not too optimistic about the hero.
Well, my biggest issue is he's kind of like a hybrid hero. He's borrowing from a lot of different kits, and you often find that when heroes are made like that, they don't really. It's like the jack of all trades, master of none. Like
sure.
I mean, what is it? His shield up time is worse than Orisa, even with the Orisa nerfs. The recharge rate is slower than Reinhardt's when he gets broke. His damage absorption ability is worse than Defense Matrix, and his damage is kind of weird and niche. I was testing the damage ranges. It's got a max range of 20 meters, and that's it.
It should be like 30 or something.
It's 20. It's 20 meters. Yeah.
Very short. Yeah.
So he's in a super weird place, and his ultimate is one of the hardest to charge in the game. It's like one of the slowest charging ultimates in the game.
Is it, or is that just because Doa and Wolf were Papagas?
No, me and Bren were like kind of owning on it. It was we were getting.
Yeah, it was hard to charge the ult because as well it's hard to deal damage. Like there's going to be so much shielding in the game now. With the introduction of him as well, I just don't see a scenario where he's going to be getting consistent damage.
The other thing as well is I think there might be certain tech that gets discovered that makes him more reasonable. Like I saw somebody has already discovered this combo you can use where you attack with the, what are they called? Hyperspheres? Is that what it is? His just like auto attack.
Yeah.
You attack with those and you cancel the animation with accretion. And so you can hit like a 120 damage combo using both of those.
Yeah, I was testing that.
But you have to hit the rock, and it's got.
You have to hit two different projectile speeds.
Yeah.
Or two different projectiles coming out. You have to kind of like time up. It's pretty hard to hit, I think, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen this with a lot of heroes in the past, so they don't come out that strong, and then.
Sure.
Wow.
It's still on the PTR.
When was the last time this happened though? Because the last time was it Anna?
No, I mean Anna was the first hero they released. I mean, Orisa would be more of a thing to compare.
Yes, yeah. Where Orisa
was Orisa poo?
No, but everyone thought she was.
But everyone thought she was poo. That was with Anna.
They had to change her shield, right?
Everyone thought Anna was like bad when she came out.
Everyone did think Anna was bad when she came out.
And then she got a little buff. It was like it was something dumb. Like, did they buff?
It was
like
I
how
think
much
it was
ammo she had in her clip.
Yes.
And then and then it just like, oh, Anna's like godlike, and it was like, well, they didn't adjust anything but give her two or three more shots. Like,
yeah, it takes time for people to figure out the best way of using them.
I think this guy could be like if they up the damage on like his primary fire or gave him more movement, like this guy would probably be absurd, like in a way, because if you were able to.
If they want to have a short range, and that's what Jeff said on Seagull's stream, was that they wanted tanks to get up close. They didn't want them to be snipers. So I can understand the justification to have like a very short range on your primary fire, but there's no incentive to get up close. So like, why do you want a primary fire that's short range, but no incentive for the hero to like really get up close, or no ability for the hero to get up close?
How much damage does
gap closing?
Yeah.
How much damage does he do with the primary fire?
I think it's 60 per projectile. Oh, 60 per double projectile.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, I was like, does an amp matrix and like Batiste kind of work with him and make him just pump out tons of damage in a short?
Not really, because I mean,
really,
who's gonna stand that close to an amp matrix as well? You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, sorry, it's 120 for double projectile. It's 60 each.
Okay, yeah. So, what, 240, right? Like, it's still not like a considerable amount of damage.
I mean, to be a main tank, I think he needs some kind of like a bit more survival. I don't think he's like suck or whatever is, because it's like he has 400 health and like you suck in and you get some bonus shields, but like it's not off. You can't sustain. You can't sustain in the front line.
I could definitely see them just taking the 100 health at the top and turning it into armor at some point. You know, if they need to buff him, I think that would be the first go-to, because he's already pretty slow. You probably need to make him a bit tanky as well.
Yeah, I think he needs some fine tuning, but I'm not sure like what they'll do. But I think he needs some fine tuning to be competitive.
He's fun as fuck, though.
He's fun as fuck, though. I was just about to say that. Like, his ultimate is fucking awesome.
Yeah. You feel like a badass when you're playing.
Yeah, when you raise him in the sky and just, like, you see they did such a sick job with, like, the dark purple, like, kind of storm animation, like, on the ground.
Yeah.
Like, it just looks so sick.
I was saying this when we were testing him to some of the devs,
I want him to be broken so I could just insta-lock him and just farm.
But I mean, the shield is unique in that you can choose how long you want it to go.
Yeah.
So I could definitely foresee, because from talking to a lot of pros, it seems like Anna's being ran a lot, just because of a healing output and the amount of utility she brings, right? I can see a world in certain maps. I'm trying to think which ones it would be, but
like
maybe
King's Row, where she holds by Arch.
Yeah, maybe you just slam a shield up there so the Anna is forced to move off of the high ground.
I could see him being used on like certain maps that have like a really crazy like choke, like let's say Hanamura, for argument's sake, on defense, where you could like have a sniper up on the high ground with a personal shield, play Orisa still on the ground, and then just have those like knockoffs on the side, like where you can just bank them off the wall like constantly, like primary fires. You could even deny a Widowmaker at the top on Hanamura by putting like a shield up at the top. Like I think there's weird situations where I think he could see some play.
So
blocking sightlines is going to be a big one.
It does make a lot of sense theoretically, but as someone who like would counter strat that, I would just dive and like, what is he going to do? Like you just dive. You have a bonus shield and you just dive.
Right,
unless you hit someone with the accretion, dive is going to plow him, I think. But I think people will get good at that.
Yeah, I mean, unless like, I think it'd be kind of tough because I mean, you could pop your shift and suck all that damage up, but like in a dive, like he'll end up getting hacked and he has no mobility already, and then he's just dead. But that's a lot of heroes that get hacked.
I think we can all agree on that it's a super sick hero, and it's gonna be interesting to see.
I love the idea, and also his origin video was so good.
That was the best one he's ever done.
It's the best one they've ever done. His voice actor is phenomenal as well.
Yeah,
actually, to be like, I've seen people giving him credit. I mean, you need to do it. If you messed around with any of his voice lines yet, I was playing around on the training range with him.
No.
And yeah, the voice actor's done a phenomenal job of just the hero as well. Just
I
some
would play
old dude.
with
Yeah.
him, yeah.
He's like losing his mind as he's playing, and yeah.
Really? That's sick.
Yeah.
Should
I
make it
love the
a-
idea.
Yeah, so
I
you
hope
make it
they
a
go in
single
a-
player campaign to just like break out from like some mental hospital
Oh,
or
yeah.
something with him. It was sick.
I hope they go. I hope they go more in that direction with like more origin stories. Like it was a little bit darker, like weirder. Like it's way more interesting. I think I saw it was like trending on YouTube, like #1. Which
Really?
I'm not
What?
sure. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
like it was up there. Yeah, it was up there. Like, and I'm
That's
not
sick.
sure they've ever had another origin story kind of come that close to like
Yeah.
being that kind of popular.
There's also
So-
a lot of hype now with Rollock and stuff. It feels good, man. Hey, we're back on top of the world. Hey, Overwatch, let's go.
Hey! No,
The viewership has been nuts, actually, which I think is not because of Sigma, because people didn't really know that Sigma was going to be released. But the role lock has brought a lot of viewership back.
oh
A
well, and
huge
then
amount of interest.
even I've been watching Shroud play a ton.
I
Over
haven't
the last,
watched any.
like,
We just got
over
hosted
the
by
last
Seagull.
like, oh yo Seagull, thanks for the love, my man. Yo, we love you.
Yo,
here in the chat.
Seagull's coming, bro.
Hey, turn up, turn up.
Turn up.
Hey, Brandon, how long you in Irvine for? Let's go out.
You don't live in Irvine.
It's
Yo,
his
it's Seagull's birthday. Yo,
Is it
Brent,
Seagull's
happy
birthday?
Yeah,
We
Seagull's
should,
birthday.
we should genuinely go down to Irvine and meet up with him. I don't know
Oh.
when he's leaving.
Well, why is he in Irvine? Why doesn't he come?
What?
to us?
Because it's
We're
like the
streaming
stream
from
with
the
Jeff.
Blizzard.
You're asking the birthday boy to come to you?
Yeah, come to us. We'll buy you a cake.
I'll come down to see Brandon. Bro.
Yeah, I would actually.
Seagull's going on for steak. you
Johnny,
know.
can you sing "Happy Birthday" to Seagull,
Yeah.
please?
Happy
Swedish.
birthday to you.
Now in Swedish.
I can't remember
You
what
don't
it
even
is.
What do you mean you can't remember what Happy
Yo
Birthday?
mo haliva, yo mo haliva. Yeah, it's a whole fucking thing. It goes.
Oh, it's not even the same tune.
No,
Because most countries use the same tune, I think.
no, it's not even the.
Oh, right. Yeah.
It's very unique, actually.
There's
But that's
no
a
birthdays
that's
in
a
Sweden.
podcast for
No
another
birthdays
time.
in Sweden.
Yeah. Okay. People don't get older in
People
Sweden.
don't get older. No, they just.
How do you
stay the
explain
same.
this? Like it doesn't happen.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Little
exactly.
baby face.
So we were talking about Sigma before.
Oh no, I want to know about
Okay,
Shroud. You were saying you were watching Shroud.
I've been
I haven't
watching
seen
Shroud
any of it.
play a ton, and it's actually been awesome to watch somebody who, like, I feel like sometimes we're so close to Overwatch that we don't really like kind of like see the game for what it is,
Yeah.
and like he'll just play Ash and like Dumpster, and like I think he's in like somewhere like high Plat, like around like where, like yeah.
I
And,
love
like,
that.
He'll just dunk on people and he'll be like, dude, this game is so fun. Like, and he's having like a ball playing it. Like sometimes he's like, like I don't really know. And then
Well, I
like,
saw his tweet where he said, "I'm not having fun, but I want to play
but
again."
I want to keep playing. But then I've been watching him play for the last like he's been streaming it like even like at the end of his streams, he's like, I don't know what I'm gonna play tomorrow. I don't know. I think I might play some more of this.
yeah.
And like he just keeps playing it. And he's playing Tracer and like Ash is actually super cool.
Yeah.
Jordan
Shroud seems
Fisher
like
as
the-
well.
Oh yeah. Jordan Fisher was playing some.
Yeah, a bunch of like Fortnite streamers kind of.
Myth. I was watching
Yeah,
Myth
Myth has
play.
been
Myth's
playing a
like,
ton, yeah.
Myth's like
Wow.
low plat.
Did you guys see
Wow.
the clip of Myth doing his XQC impression? That
Yeah,
shit
yeah.
was so on point. It was so good.
We gotta schedule a game. I'm gonna reach out to Courage. We'll see if we can get a game. Jordan
Yeah,
Fisher,
yeah.
Courage, and a few of those people against the
And then we'll just stream snipe them and brutalize them in low
Takedown.
plat.
Yeah, I'd be down.
yeah, the battle for Overwatch. We're just in high Plat.
Yeah.
Just high Plat.
It was actually
game.
so sad because I watched Shroud stream and people were just like smurfing and like queuing into him, and I'm like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
welcome
terrible.
to our world.
Yeah, honestly, it's been
Literally.
brutal. It's
it's happened
actually
so
been
much.
brutal. I've been trying to do my placements on PTR, and it's the only place that I can avoid running into stream snipers. I tanked my SR by like 300, 400 SR,
Oh.
just queuing into stream snipers on live.
no, they weren't sniping you.
They were,
no.
they were Johnny.
Bro,
They were
yeah.
Johnny. There
Who
was-
would
they
snipe
were
you?
everywhere. They were
No.
everywhere.
This guy loses, dude. Is a stream sniper. he bladed the other night, Johnny. You would have thrown up everywhere. It was the worst blade I've ever seen.
What are you
anyone
talking about?
have in their
It's the
entire
only
life.
time I've ever got kills with the Dragon
So-
Blade.
No. It was one on Nimbani. So it's like
Oh.
they just capture the second point, and there's zero reason to use the blade, and he's like just telling his poor teammates on the PTR like, "Oh, I'm gonna blade, guys. Watch this." And he dies and he dashes at an Ash, and then she just shoots him away, and then he just stands there and he just swings, and there's nobody around.
Do you know what the worst part about this is? I don't even remember that Dragon Blade that you clearly made such a deep impression on you, because I just do that all the time. I'm so fucking awful at the game.
It was like 2:30 in the morning, and I saw that, and I just turned it off, and I went to bed.
So I think everyone can visualize this. It's just like that feeling when you Dragon Blade and you just stand there and you just slice the air and you're just like, it's not happening, is it? It's not happening. No. That's
and then I watch somebody like Agilities just murder a whole team, and I'm like, why don't they line up like that for me? Like, like what is that?
Have you actually done all your placements on PTR?
No,
have any of you guys done them?
I'm gonna do it after the podcast.
How did you enjoy the whole role queue experience?
So the weirdest one is tank by far. Like if you're a support or you're DPS, I think most people that play those roles are fairly comfortable just like picking a hero they want to play or picking something. Yeah. The difference between main tank and off tank is enormous. And it just becomes a race to pick the off tank. It's just like, how quickly can I mash any key that isn't Orisa right now?
Hey, bro, I've had a lot of games of people throwing. Here's what I think people might do. They might queue up for DPS and tank, and then if they get the tank roll, they just insta-lock hog. Because that's what all people were doing in my games. I felt like it was just like as soon as you get into the tank roll, you gotta play hog. Like, and then I'm like, I don't want to play any of these, so I install Wrecking Ball, and we're both just feeding our brains out.
I had some weird games. Like I've never played so many games with 2 off tanks before ever in my life. Normally there's somebody on the team that will step up and play main tank, but I found so many times that I queue in and I'm wanting to play off tank.
If you are an Orisa main, add me on Battle.net.
Yeah,
I am looking for main tank friends.
LF Orisa.
If you are an Orisa player, reach out to us. We got a spot for you. Like,
but outside of that, the quality of the games has been stepped up significantly.
It was actually one thing I noticed when I was watching Josh play, and then Chelsea played some on the PTR as well, and I was sitting here watching. The games just seem way more organized. Like even like it just seems like way out, like less out of control, I guess, in a way. And like some games, like because I think the worst thing is you play live now, you have a comp that kind of makes sense. Your DPS don't kill anything round 1. Your Ana is now Widowmaker. Now you have 3 DPS.
That was every game.
Now your tanks.
Well, that was every game
because they're not being healed. Yeah. This is Bren. And then now your off tank is now playing another damage dealer, so now you've ended up with a salty like Ana Mercy player who's just angry because they don't want to heal all these DPS who are just feeding. You have a solo tank, most likely hog at that point, and then your game's lost.
Yeah, but I think a lot of people, they just like, because you can pick every hero in the game, I think they just wants to find the answer to the enemy's composition a lot of the time. But when you have role lock in place, then you don't have to look for the answer yourself. You can just like do the best you can do in your role.
Yeah.
And so I think role lock just like it's a bit stricter, but I think it helps people to just focus on their own gameplay rather than trying to be like, we should triple DPS or triple tank or triple support. Yeah. It's like there's too many variables. So
I agree with you, Johnny. I also think people are going to be way more open to working with other people because there is no option to switch. In the world in which you have the offensive Torbjorns on Temple of Anubis, you know, he ain't gonna switch. We can't switch. So let's try and like work with this guy and help him out and work around.
Well, the other thing as well is people can't get mad at me for playing DPS because I've queued as DPS
and they're at your rank.
And my SR is specifically designed for this as well. It's like, fuck you guys if you think you're better than me. You're actually exactly as good at these roles as I am at DPS. You're stuck in here with me.
But the SR gap is still pretty like high. It's like if you're within 1,000 SR,
that's how the people at home will know.
So you're still gonna have to play with Bren and Matt on DPS.
Yes, I played with Bren. I don't know why. Honestly, I did well on DPS in that game. Yeah, I did. I carried as Genji.
You mean the game where you would literally just you slipped into gold? And then immediately afterwards, you were like, I need to start trying now. Because the previous one, you locked in Doomfist and you had 18 deaths per 10 minutes. 18 deaths per 10 minutes.
How do you do that?
Well, that is almost world record numbers. I have never seen harder feeding. What was that?
That was the door.
Hide the address.
Amazon
Hide the
Prime.
address.
Yeah,
Great.
the address is on this side. The
Oh,
address is on this side.
you know what? Yeah, that's what I bought. It's ice cube trays.
Oh.
Nice, dude. Ice cube
Nice.
trays.
Nice.
Interrupting the podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't
Okay.
know. I couldn't tell him like,
No,
hey.
there are people who are intentionally trying to feed that can't match those numbers.
Well,
Yes,
no,
yeah.
no. So here's the thing.
18 per 10.
18 per 10 is phenomenal. I've never seen higher numbers than that.
Well, you know, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you guys. I got placed really low, and it was unfair. And I just felt
And
like
then you threw the game. You went down to gold, and you were like, "Oh, I don't actually want to be known as a gold player." But right now, you're looking like a gold player.
no,
Like,
no,
yes,
no, 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 no.
yes.
No, dude.
Yes.
Okay, I think I saw Jeff say something where like the PTR, like SR, may be a little bit off. Like it's not.
It is.
really,
It's
like,
miles off. It
accurate.
placed me in gold.
And well, I mean that seems.
I
like
can't.
accurate, but
Sideshow
I
is
mean,
canceled. Sideshow is canceled.
Dude,
Like,
Sideshow places 3,300 in support where we know he's good, and then all his other roles are just potato quality.
Yeah.
There's
My
anyone-
hog is masters. I've got a masters hog. It's just when I played my tank placement games, I was forced to play main tank, and
I was
no,
actually
can't
in
play
the
Orisa.
apartment when you played Orisa, and like, oh my god, it was like a crying dog. Like it was just sad. Like it was just like, I have to play Orisa. I don't know how to play this hero, and I was just like feeling bad for Sideshow.
Yeah,
I was like,
I know. I wanted
Yeah,
to be taken out back.
Did you notice
So did the
the?
glue.
Did you notice the ultimate slow charge time on the PTR as much? Were they?
No, not really.
No.
No, I didn't really notice it either.
I don't think you'll notice it in pleb games because the variance in ult charge time is just based on how good you are or how much you're rolling the enemy team. But in pro games, I think it'll make a big difference once that patch hits.
Yeah. Somebody said the PTR is placing people higher than usual.
No, that's bullshit. That's
Interesting.
bullshit.
Interesting.
I've heard this shit. People in my chat telling me that the PTR is placing them higher than usual.
Dude,
That's
you got
all anecdotal
exposed, bro.
evidence.
You got
The only-
exposed, dude.
The
That's
only
a
people
cat.
that want to post on Reddit are the people that got ranked higher.
Dude,
That's why
the
everyone
chat
thinks they got ranked
exposed
higher.
you, dude.
It's not true. Listen, anyone want to come and 1v1 me? They can. Step up, put some money on the line. I'll
Side,
pop 'em.
side gold, dude.
Side gold. Fucking
Side
hell.
gold.
Actually, a silver DPS and tank player.
No,
That's
not true.
amazing.
Even slightly.
Yeah, genuinely.
Not true.
Yep.
Bullshit.
You get carried by your by.
Listen, none of you motherfuckers have done your placement games yet, so laugh it up while you
Yeah.
can.
I'm
when you get placed
gonna lose.
silver
I'm
on
gonna
your
play with
wrecking
you.
ball.
I'm gonna play with you. You're gonna throw all of my games intentionally.
Well, why don't you do what I did and solo
I'm still
queue
gonna
then?
place higher than you.
Why don't you do what I did and solo
time
queue?
out.
Little bitch.
Yeah.
Time out. Chill out. We have something to talk about. What should we talk about?
Okay.
Yeah. Roll queue.
I don't want to talk about Sideshow's SRS more. It's not
a good
worth
idea.
We haven't really discussed like the effect on roll queue on the game, like just in general.
No,
we talked
did.
about
What?
Yeah, we
That's
we
pretty
talked-
much
no,
what we
we talked
did.
about Sideshow's. We should talk about his experience with roll queue and him throwing his brains out. We didn't discuss
I've already
like
said it's better quality matches.
yeah. I mean, I think people make the argument that it gets rid of the creativity. I think it just adds more to it. Like, there's more things you can actually play.
Whoa, here goes Sideshow.
I
Sideshow.
don't know about that,
You don't
my
agree with that?
dude. No,
Why
I don't
don't
agree
you
with
agree
it.
with that?
I mean, it can't possibly add more creativity. Literally, you could have played all of these compositions normally.
No, because you just settled on 3 tanks and 3 supports and just ran out there.
Yeah, but nobody was playing that in ranked anyway, were they? Who played?
No,
we tried
okay.
to play
No,
Ghosts
that's
in
not the
ranked on
point.
Diamond, and
Okay,
it was
so
horrific.
are we talking about the professional level, or are we talking about ranked?
Well, I think those are two
Because I
wildly
think it's
different
two
things.
wildly different things.
Yeah. So, but the thing is, the professional level had to copy the game. I think it would have been ridiculous for it to happen any other way.
Yeah.
Like if you were still playing goats in the pro scene when it was locked to 222 in
You were
the
not
game, that would have been the
actually allowed.
stupidest thing in the world.
Yeah.
So I totally agree with that decision. I just
I mean,
think
the problem is not that people aren't playing, or like the problem isn't like people playing triple tank, triple support in ranked, because that's not what they're doing. I think the problem is that people play triple DPS and quad DPS,
yeah.
and that's why people want roll lock, and that's why people on like the general Overwatch subreddit are like, oh, thank God, because my quick play games aren't ruined anymore, and my ranked games aren't ruined anymore, and we can actually play the game in a reasonable way.
Yeah, it's not really like in a weird way. Like, I mean, they get rid of goats, obviously doing it, but they kind of save like the general public out of that awkwardness of like, well, my team has selected 5 DPS, everyone has left voice, and now
I think
I
that's
have to
the
sit
biggest
here
thing.
for 30 minutes and do this. Like, I think that's probably the biggest saving grace with everything, which I wasn't sure how the casual community would react, and it seemed like that there was like a little bit of a blowback, but it seems like a majority of them were kind of okay with the idea. The only ones that weren't were the ones who like to go into quick play and like with a bunch of buddies and just like troll people and just like do ridiculous
let me read you this comment that I got on my YouTube video about 222, because it was like it was one of the only negative comments I saw, and it was wonderful. He said, "It's like I'm being punished on 222. You can't give me freedom and then lock me to a role and limit who I want to be." And I think that's amazing, because it's like the people that argue based on the Constitution of the U.S. being like a thing from the Wild West, you know. They're like, you can't limit my freedom. I love that kind of argument.
The only other argument I saw was people like, well, what if both of my DPS players don't play hit scan and they have like Fara Mercy and I'm Ana and I can't switch to Widow? And it's like, well, those DPS players just fall out of whatever skill bracket they're in, and then eventually you'll get some people who can play some hit scan.
Yeah, Also, just match them in Fire Mercy forehead.
Yeah.
Win the 1v1.
Or queue up with the Brito Maker. Get the Brito Maker on your side.
With me, the Brito Maker. I reckon I'm going to hit like probably top 500 on my placements.
I press X to doubt.
Come with me, Bren. Come with me, Bren. Let's do it. Let's get it. I'm going to do my placements after the podcast. Let's do it.
Okay.
That would be amazing. I'd love to do placements with you, Johnny. Me, you, and Johnny. Me, Bren, and Johnny doing placements together on PTR. How far can we tank Jonathan Reinforce Larsson?
Oh, you can tank him pretty far.
Oh, you couldn't even, if you wanted to, you couldn't even do it.
No, because it's been tracking the MMR in games, right? So even if but also the PTR wins and losses. I mean, I won a game and gained 200 SR at some point. It was ridiculous.
Chelsea was saying that she was getting games where she would like win a game and get almost like 100 SR for a win. But
that's what happens when you finish placements on a new account. That's usually you get placed in gold and then you just search in SR.
Yeah, I mean, it's the variable value.
I did my placements on live on Susan with Sideshow and Noah, and I actually think I ended up placing higher than my actual account, which I don't know how that was even possible because we were just throwing games left and right. But I mean,
don't admit that on a podcast. You can't talk.
No, like we were just like
it's not allowed to throw.
There were just dumb plays being made. Like we won one game of Hanamura.
Allegedly.
Remember when the Sim TP or Noah's TP to the point and they were fighting us outside and they C9?
It's just genius.
It was just like
that's my favorite play to make. I love backcapping. It's like you get away with it quite often at Plat Diamond level because people are just bad at just awareness of the game. But sometimes you're just getting steamrolled, and like I've had moments where I've just capped it all the way, like halfway through Eichenwald.
Is Brendan a DPS player who insta-locks and then complains about his tanks who are at the same SR that he is?
What do you mean?
I don't know. You're just putting down the game sense of the people around you at the same rank, and then
I'm not saying I'm good. Like I belong at my SR because I'm a potato at the game. Like when I'm playing,
at least you're not Josh and just kind of like peddling out information that you're.
No, I mean I know I'm bad.
I am unbelievably good.
I know I'm bad at the game.
I am unbelievably good.
All right, should we talk about the Overwatch League then?
Yeah, Overwatch League. It's gonna happen. Still happening.
Cool. That's the end of the podcast. Good to see you guys. See you next week.
See you later.
Episode.
No,
it's probably gonna be the best stage.
Yes. You know what I'm excited about as well? Kind of went under the radar with all the announcements this week. Did you see? It's like the Overwatch League pick'em thing for the tokens.
Yeah.
That's gonna be awesome.
Right, but have you read the announcement for it? It seems like it's going to be a different bunch of questions every day.
Yes.
So you have to get the questions
I
right.
approved the questions today.
Inside info! It's Johnny doing the questions.
No, I'm not doing the questions, but because I'm the internal pro gamer, they like ask for my advice and like approval. So I'm not writing it, but I've seen.
So if I give you, if I buy some beers for you or something, so buy some Bud Lights, the official alcoholic beverage of the Overwatch League for you.
Of course.
Yeah.
You might repay me by telling me the answers to the questions.
No, it's not. It's not trivia.
Oh, what is it then?
No. It's like who's going to finish with the most damage this map. And
it's all prediction based.
Well, I can make those for you as well because you're trash. So.
So that was something that they had on MLG TV for when we were doing Call of Duty on there. Is that for every match there was like a large interactive board that would pop out, and you'd be able to pick the winner you'd be able to pick like a bunch of other like who's going to have the most kills in game 1, like who's going to plant the most bombs in map number 2, whatever. And it kept a scoreboard on the stream for the whole event.
Yeah, it's pretty much like that.
Correct answers. Yeah,
it's nothing too in depth.
Like a ton of people, but a ton of people like just love that type of interaction watching the games. Like,
and you can get tokens.
Yes, so, like, and you get tokens. So
I think the bragging rights will be more important than the tokens. If there's some kind of leaderboard, people care about leaderboards so much.
Yeah. My predictions were apparently pretty good this last stage. Stage 3.
Good job.
Well done.
Let's talk about some other teams in the Overwatch League. Let's talk about some team, Matt.
Yeah, so stage 3 ended, Shanghai won. Now we go into stage 4 with the lock. What do we think of what team's going to get hurt the most by this?
I don't want to redo the watch point show we've already done, Matt. Listen.
What team's going to get hurt the most?
Didn't you watch that?
What do you mean, Bren? We've only seen it 3 times live.
You hit up the Overwatch League on YouTube, you can see my question.
What did you actually say? I mean, at that point, we didn't know what the meta was going to be.
We didn't even know what it was going to be.
Who's going to be the worst affected? I actually didn't give an answer.
What about your boy Eamon?
Nobody knows what the hell the meta is going to be. You know,
Spark are going to be the most
affected.
I'm going to put that out there.
Yeah, that's a good shout. That's a good shout.
Yeah,
Sparks.
Go on.
They really refined like a great GOATS composition, and for some reason people hype them up as being like a fantastic DPS team. The only fantastic DPS player that they have on that team is Bazzi when he plays Widowmaker. And apart from that, they actually have a pretty lackluster team.
Yeah,
in terms
and
of
Godspeed is like some
Adora
flexible,
not good?
consistent.
Adora? No, not particularly. I mean, Godspeed would be their second best player probably. Maybe like Sashin on the Fire or the Genji, but... Huh? No, well, Crystal is actually a beast, but he hasn't really been playing for them, so I wonder whether they're going to be able to integrate into the team properly.
I mean, Crystal and Gushue would be the dream.
I think a lot of it is going to come down to if you've got a main tank player that can play Orisa as well. So, Fuel are probably fucked.
Oh, I think Dallas are just out.
Do they just put? What if they just make no play Orisa?
They're out.
Okay. Let me pose the question like this, Sideshow. Is Dallas Fuel the worst team in Stage 4?
No.
Could be. I don't think they will be because I think they're going to play a lot of Widowmaker and they actually have a bunch of Widowmaker players. But if the meta starts getting flexible, they have zero flexibility on that roster.
I don't think
you could get some of these teams in the league and they ain't going to be the worst.
Okay, but who is going to be the worst? Like, Mayhem could still be the worst, but who the hell knows what's going to happen with Mayhem?
I'm staying out of this discussion.
The team's just wild. I mean, like, Mayhem's always a solid bet for being the worst team in the league, but they have just brought in a bunch of random teams.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even consider Florida a team at this point. They're a garbage fire at the bottom of the league.
What about how do you think Boston will fare with this?
I'm not too worried about them, actually.
You're not?
I think they'll be Papega as well.
I don't think they're going to be top 10.
I don't know how good Fusions this Orisa is, but I don't know.
And then you have RCK on.
Now Fusions is going to play. Fusions is going to be Widowmaker for them. Don't worry about it.
Bro, a lot of people don't know this inside information. When I was challenging a bunch of pro players behind the scenes for my Widowmaker 1v1.
Here comes the jacuzzi. Comes the jacuzzi, boys.
I mean,
we don't know where Bren is hanging out with all these players in jacuzzis, but he's always in jacuzzis with owl players. So yeah, keep going.
It's a great place. It's a great place to get information. You know, you go to the jacuzzi, you sit down with the boys, start heating up, start letting loose, you know. But Fusions, I said, you want to play me in a Widow 1v1? And he was like, no, you'll beat me. So I challenged him. I sent out the formal declaration in the jacuzzi, and he said no, because I would beat him. Well, the man's scared.
So
that's really surprising because he's such a mechanically gifted player.
The man's scared.
You walk outside your backyard in the morning before scrimmages and Bren's in the back in your jacuzzi. Don't go in there. He's looking for information. He's just hanging out in your backyard, just hanging out there.
We should actually do that as a segment in the Overwatch League. I should interview people in a jacuzzi.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. All we would have to do is get a jacuzzi and some microphones that can go into hot tubs.
Into a jacuzzi.
Yeah, like a boom mic, you know?
Yeah, maybe. Okay, let's pitch it to them.
Yup.
I'm sending an email right now.
Write it down, right? They can get the emails gone. What about the Hunters? Do they get hurt by this?
The Hunters are really weird, right? Because Eamon has, let me remind you, Eamon has never played Winston in his professional career, which is why I thought this team was going to be horrific to begin with, and they got by playing Wrecking Ball. But Wrecking Ball might end up being the secondary tank, like your off-tank's job. I can see people playing Winston Wrecking Ball. So what are you running? Just cheering on Eamon? And then Eamon's going to...
Elsa plays Winston.
I mean, fuck knows. Chengdu is such a wild...
Word on the street is, right, let me give you the lowdown.
Okay.
Word on the street is right now, the number one pick in DPS, May.
Yes, actually, that's what they have been saying.
Great, because the wall breaks the hook combos, the freeze locks down and pierces through multiple enemies, but it also locks down Hammond. Like, and she has no damage fall off on her right clicks, so she's contesting long range with a lot of snipers as well.
That makes sense.
May apparently is the one that's right now. Everyone's playing it.
To be fair, we were talking to some players earlier, and they said whoever has the best May is going to win. It doesn't matter about the Orisa Hog. Now, I think they might be slightly overstating it a little, but I could definitely see that being an interesting phenomenon.
I think London gets way better in 2-2-2.
See, I think they could be mentally boomed. I think Birdring is overrated. I think Birdring is overrated.
I agree. I think they're going to be really good, Matt.
I think they're going to be good.
They're going to be good, but there's better DPS duos out there these days.
Yeah, but if you wanted to play a dive with Sombra, just throw guard in and then throw guard and Prophet. And then Prophet just plays all guard.
I would just run guard and Prophet the whole time.
You just say throwing guard forehead. Is that what you're saying? Throwing guard forehead.
Yeah.
Well, he started getting playtime.
You watched like 2 games of him, Matt. You watched like 2 games of guard play.
He played like a bunch in stage 1.
Yeah, and you watched like half of them.
Well, I don't think there's any point arguing this because none of us know what London we're gonna see. They could come out and pound. They could come out and just poo.
What team did guard play on before Lawn Spitfire?
I have no clue. I wasn't there with Apex. I wasn't watching Apex. I know everybody in the chat wants to be up in the morning watching Apex. Guess what I'm doing? I'm sleeping. I'm walking to Starbucks. I ain't at Apex. Don't
okay. There is no better Orisa Hog duo in the league though than Gesture and Fury.
Yes.
You could not find a better duo in terms of that tanking duo. The Hulks were always phenomenal from London last year in stage 4. Like the Hulk combos, the Hulk Dragon Strikes were on point every time. They got great coordination, that team. I actually take a lot of credit in that because I visited London. Me and you, Josh, we visited London. Actually, no, sorry. This is a different time. I visited them a second time. It was around stage 3. No, it was playoffs, just before playoffs. I visited them.
I feel like you're inventing this story.
Just before playoffs, I visited them.
You guys were in the jacuzzi.
Jacuzzi with Gesture and Prophet.
I was talking to the coaches at the time, and the coaches were asking me for my advice. And Susie at the time was working. The coaches were asking me, "What do you think? What do you think that we do that other teams don't?" And at the time, Valiant were really good at coordinating their ults and using their ults like self-destruct really effectively to create space and split off enemies, dragon strikes, things like that. And I was like, that's one thing that your team isn't doing. As soon as I say that, they clean it up, baby.
So you scouted the Valiant, and then you went to London and were like, "Hey, do this."
Well, they asked me for advice. They're like, "What do we do differently?" And I was like, "Well, this is something that Valiant." I was like, "This is something that good teams are doing right now that your team isn't doing because you're shit."
There you go.
Okay,
get your advice from Brennan Hook.
If you believe that Brennan Hook's coaching took them to the grand finals,
it worked.
Listen, all I know is once this broadcast and business gets wrapped up, once I clean up the game here, coaching's next. I'll be moving into that. You know, I'm gonna be coaching. You know,
from a pool.
The Cairo Captaineers, you know.
You're gonna live in Egypt.
We're gonna have like an Egypt team. I'm gonna be on that Middle Eastern oil money. You know?
Oh, the jacuzzi in Egypt.
The jacuzzi in Egypt.
Of course.
It's an interesting dream you have there. What about Philly? Do you think Philly bounces back?
Honestly, think they're overrated.
If you talk about a team being mentally boomed, I think Philadelphia are number 1 right now.
More mentally boomed than London.
Yeah,
I wrote my power rankings today. I put them at 10th.
10th?
Really? That seems low.
Really? I could definitely see. I mean, they're in the Atlantic Division, remember? They've just been slapping Papega teams over and over and over again.
Yeah, but if there was ever a meta for them to come back in, like Carpe, his heart was not in Zarya. Like when you could tell, like someone was missing from him. Like he was AFK in a lot of these matches, Carpe. Like his grabs are pretty poop. His bubble usage is pretty poop.
Yeah.
Put him on a hero he pounds on.
But last year, he was pounding, and they were the last seed in season playoffs.
No. He only really started. The whole team only started pounding on that run to the finals.
Yeah.
Like that was the meta. They were playing.
Yeah, I mean that's the point though. That like Carpe got to play Widowmaker, but they were still the last seed. And that's...
I think it was really EQO coming online at the end. And
Sados Orisa
is pretty good.
But with teams being so much better this year, I just don't see them having the same star potential. I don't think Boombox is necessarily a game-changing Zenyatta. So it's like it's not a lot talking for Philadelphia Fusion in my mind.
What's Alarm doing?
He just turned 18, but
so they can't because it's not. I mean the signings are closed, right? Or something.
Well, they should have. So. I don't know why they didn't sign him as a.
Because he wasn't. Oh, they could have, right? Yeah.
They could have. But I mean, they could also just do it next year.
They gotta win Korean contenders, dude.
But here's the thing, though. Listen, Kib's coming in. Boombox is in. All right. We got 2 Brits. We know for a fact that British players in teams equals victories a lot of the time.
Yeah.
I reckon you get Kib, you get EQO in. I don't know why. I don't know who's gonna be playing the hits.
Kib and EQO.
Oh yeah, bench Carpe. Great.
You're gonna this guy. Okay.
Get bench Carpe. Pick up a couple more British players in like the tank position or whatever.
Numlocked. Get him in.
Yeah, get Numlocked in. Get Smex as well. Get Smex in the off tank position.
All right, here's my wild idea.
Maybe
you're
like
just actually babbling nonsense.
Maybe buy Funny Astro as well, and then suddenly you've got like a dope team, and then it's like EQO and the Brits.
Yeah. What about if they just ran Kib as off tank on Hog?
Yeah.
And they just run Orisa Hog, and then because Kib's Hog is fat.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts.
It depends if you have a meta where you can just play Orisa Hog the whole time.
Johnny just is absolutely hating.
Dude, yeah, I think the Kib Hog actually poos.
Why? Why would you really want to run Poco if it's Orisa Hog over Kib?
I mean, if you go with Kib on off tank, you're like 100% playing Orisa Hog. I mean, I don't want to see Kib playing Diva. I don't want to see Kib playing Zarya.
No,
he's 100% Hog.
Well, Kib might be able to play, I don't know, like Wrecking Ball or something.
Yeah.
Something. That's not how analysis works. You can't just be like, oh, this guy is a Brit. He can play off tank and flex onto Wrecking Ball or something.
But his Hog is really good. What? And if you have like one of the weirdest heroes to pick up would be Wrecking Ball. Like, it's really, I don't want to say it's one dimensional, but it's much easier for people to pick up.
This is gambling analysis. You're just like throwing out opinions there. And
what else?
We don't know what the meta's going to be.
We don't know. What else do you want? You want us to just sit here in silence? I tried that. You complained. Right?
No, I didn't. When did I complain about that?
Turn off your mic and sit down and listen to the gambling analysis. We're in Vegas, baby. Fat stacks coming out. All right.
How much money did you walk away with in Vegas last time?
Minus $1,000.
So 10 out of 10 for that one.
I think you're gonna see though, like, okay, maybe that was like not the best of it. I think you're gonna see teams play like a damage dealer in the off tank role and just commit to a Hog player.
I think we could definitely see that.
Like, could you see the Dallas Fuel putting Taimu out there and just having him as like
Taimu Hog?
2016.
Holy moly!
Is his Hog still good?
Yo, someone call
his Hog. Could his Hog be? Is it better than like Notes?
Almost definitely. I mean, I haven't really seen Notes Hog. He doesn't play it.
All right.
I haven't seen Notes Hog.
We're gonna see.
Yeah.
I've been in many jacuzzis, but I haven't seen any of the other players Hog.
Listen, if I was coaching Dallas right now, Note Orisa and Taimu Hog, bring him in.
You're talking about gambling analysis,
but no, and then you would have Taimu play Winston because he played it last year, and then
and then you can play and then No plays Diva, fam. Oh my god. Yo,
so Taimu's gonna be their Hog and Winston player.
we figured it out, fam.
I know it's gonna be their.
Oh my god.
All right,
I'm not even mad. I'm not even.
Problem solved.
I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I've seen
worse
shit.
Imagine if they pulled that out in game.
I've seen worse shit.
That would be madness.
I'd love that.
Wow.
Yeah, Bren needs to get on a direct line to Aero.
I mean, I saw Taimu Reinhardt. I don't doubt anything anymore. I've seen it all.
Yeah.
It's like,
or like if you're the Outlaws and you saw success playing without Cool Matt and Spree, do you try and have like Jake or Dante pick up like Hog? and play something along those lines? Or
I don't think so. I mean,
back?
I think Dante needs to be in your lineup as DPS if you're the
He
Outlaws.
needs to play Sombra, yeah.
And I think Linksa has to be in there as well. I would be running with Linksa Dante as my DPS duo for the Outlaws.
So then what do you do at off tank?
I don't know. I'd probably run Spree, to be honest. Spree played a pretty good Zarya, and from what I remember, played a pretty okay Roadhogger. I don't think we've seen it that many times, but I think it was all right. It all comes down to what flexibility is required from your off tank, though.
Yeah. How much do you think this is about hero flexibility, and how much do you think is about leadership in the team and shot calling?
From the off tank role?
No,
mostly.
for the Outlaws, when they moving forward in stage 4, when they have to decide for a roster. How crucial is Jake for their leadership?
So I think another team that's in the same exact kind of spot, and where does this sounds, will be NYXL.
But why did you move on when I posed a question?
Because I'm gonna make the same point for both of them. I think you need to have Jake in for the Outlaws. I think Saviel B needs to play in some.
I thought you were gonna say Jake for New York.
I think they should trade Jake to New York. There you go. No, I think both those teams play way better with both those players in the lineup.
They always got a pretty sick hog.
This is going to be the stage for Sabiobi to clutch.
Sabiobi's got a sick hog. He's got a sick tracer. Like, what?
Yeah, his Sombra looks pretty decent as well. His Widow, I think people have forgotten, but Sabiobi's Widow was nutty.
So what do you play him on? Do you play him on damage? Do you play him on off tank?
You definitely play him on damage. Definitely play him on damage.
Yeah. Mecho's hog's pretty good as well.
Mecho's good.
But
it's okay. It's serviceable. But also, how good does your hog really need to be? If you're playing Orisa hog, then most of the time you're saving your hogs for the
hook at the halt. Yeah.
Like you're setting up. It's more about not making that many mistakes.
Yeah.
You don't really need to pop the fuck up.
And unlike season playoffs last year, Jonak doesn't have to flex. He can just do his own support thing now. Yeah. So it's like that was the big hurdle, I think, last season playoffs. Like they were too committed on Jonak on Senyara, and they couldn't adapt to like the flex support going into like Roadhog or stuff like that. So now he can just play support and just do his thing. And I think it'd be better for him.
Shall I make could I make a bold claim?
I think I know what you're gonna say. I think I know what you're gonna say.
Go on then. What do you think I'm gonna say?
Does it involve the justice?
No, but go on. I mean, what? Go on.
Okay.
Write that thought out. Go for it, Bren.
I think justice might be very good.
Okay, right. Dig a little deeper into that because
it's a similar situation to where I think. Whereas, like, you look at Philly, Carpe's been pretty uncomfortable on Zarya. I think there's no better example than Corey.
Corey's not a Zarya player.
He's not a Zarya player. But tell you what he is, probably the best Widowmaker in that we have.
Washington.
Honestly, I think he might be the best Widowmaker that we have in the league. Now, how do you quantify that?
Whoa!
You can
quantify that.
You can make the argument.
You think Corey's better than DM or Happy?
You can make the argument.
I think he could compete.
You can make the argument.
I think he could compete.
Okay,
I'm here for it.
I think no, but that's a hot take.
I think he can compete, and then you get in. You've got what? Elivot.
Yeah, Elevot and Lulsish.
Elevota and Lulsish coming in.
I actually think that's going to be a huge move for the Justice because their tank line was awful.
They're gonna be. I think a pretty good contender, and it's a shame as well because
I'm concerned though.
A season's been pooed on. There's no stage playoffs to play for.
I'm concerned though about pretty much Lulsish and Elevote's entire careers being built on goats.
Yes,
I will say that I do think they have a solid like Orisa Hog or like Orisa Diva if they have to play it. But as we get to like, if we start seeing like dive and stuff, like I don't think anyone knows really how good they will be in a dive meta as a tank duo, compared to like how we all know that they fucking pound when it comes to like Reinhardt and Goats and
There's
stuff.
actually a lot of tanks in the league like that as well, like Fusions, for example. It's been a long time since we saw Fusions in
That's why I thought, going into this season, I thought Axiom would get way more playtime from the sheer stance that I don't think Fusions, Orisa, or Winston was like good enough. But I mean, they committed to him because he's like their spiritual leader now. He's their main shot caller. So it's like you sort of have
spiritual leader.
I don't know. I've heard that phrase.
Joining
before.
them in prayer. Everyone's holding hands at the beginning of the game, and Fusions is like.
Well, what the fuck is the phrase then? What's the phrase then?
I don't know. Emotional leader.
Emotional leader. Yeah. There you go. Spiritual leader. There you go.
Spiritual.
Get the photoshops out. Do it.
Like, humming and shit.
Yeah, but yeah, with that in mind, I do see that the Washington Justice could be better. I actually think they could be better, but there's still some question marks in my mind
I think they're still going to be pretty bad, just because I don't have faith in their coaching staff. I don't think they've set up a good system, and I don't think they have a good teamwork.
It would be incredible if Wizard Jong just signed these two dudes. Maybe Wizard Jong didn't even sign them. Maybe it was like some GM or something, and he just keeps playing Janus and Elevate.
I could genuinely see a world where that.
Yeah, no, I can see that.
Unreal.
Yeah. I can see that, Evan.
Especially because Janus is much better at Winston than he is at.
No, don't justify it. No, don't even go there. No.
I started talking and I had to cut myself off. He is better at Winston, though. His Winston's all right on certain maps. But it hurt. I mean, it gives me the chills thinking about it. You want to try and... No, anyway, let's move on from the dumpster fire that is the Russian Justice. The entertainment thieves.
Let's talk about before we go, let's talk about the top 3 teams. Vancouver, New York, and the Shock. Who gets the best out of this roll lock, and then who gets the worst?
What teams did you say?
The top 3. New York, Vancouver, and the Shock.
New York get the best out of it.
Yeah, I think so as well. And then I think Shock. But
New York kind of returns to like how they were last year. I'm not exactly sure it's a shock because you still have Striker on this team who like could have been MVP last year. Like
Striker, people forget how good that guy is.
He was so sick.
He was unreal. He had a 1 month to pick up Widowmaker and like grind it out, and he was competing with some of the best Widowmakers in the league. Like the guy is actually nuts. Like he's nuts.
New York is interesting. Do you think we see do we see Pine some? Do we see Flower? Do we see any of these players?
I would say a hardcore no.
Yeah, Libero is probably better than Flower.
Just Libero, Nene, and Saviel.
Does Nene even get playtime?
Yeah, what is Nene? Maybe like Widowmaker maps if you wanted like double sniper. You probably.
I don't think he's the best Widowmaker on that team.
I think he's probably the 4th best.
Yeah.
Do you think he's worse than Pine?
Yeah, I think Pine's actually really skilled at Widowmaker. I think he plays a really unorthodox style that forces you to play around it. But I think he is genuinely very skilled.
I think Pine is a very emotional and streaky Widowmaker. And when he kicked off 2018 on a very high note and got everyone behind him. But if he were to step up on stage now in stage 4, I think he would crumble under the pressure.
Maybe.
I think he can still pop off because he looks very flashy because his sensitivity is so high, so it looks very flashy. But he still hit some cool shots. But overall, I think
I would just run Sabiobi every time on the Widow, unless you have to run Widow Tracer, and then I'd have Sabiobi and Nene in. And at that point, it's just a toss up who you want to run where. But probably Nene on the Widow, so that you got Sabiobi on Tracer.
Double sniper, you probably still play Sabiobi and Libero to move to different things as well. So
yeah, probably.
What about the Titans?
So I think the Titans get a better end of this than the Shock does. Not because they are better at the roles, but because they don't have to rebuild their team. They're just going to play the same people.
Do you think the Shock need to retool a lot of that roster?
I think they'll be thinking about it. Yeah, I think they'll be
playing Striker and Architect.
They might even be wondering whether to play Super. And like the leadership figures on that team are Super and Sinatra with Moth calling from the back. But okay, Moth's still going to be in. But Super and Sinatra could both hit the bench in a realistic world.
It's not the same team then. Like it's not even okay. You could gain in terms of skill in the damage dealer roles and whatnot. I get that. But if you take Rascal, Sinatra, and Super out of this lineup, they wouldn't even look like the Shock. They would
it would be a fundamentally different team.
Yeah, like the whole vibe of the team would be way different.
But that might be good for them, and they might be able to ride it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's out of this realm that they find a new shot caller or leader, out of those players. The only question mark is Moth just being alone, but
you could keep Rascal in. Rascal's May is pretty good. Yeah. He can pick up a hero like that very well. And I think he could probably flex over to maybe like the Hanzo and play the Sombra or a Tracer to be serviceable alongside somebody like Striker. I could see them running a Striker Rascal, or maybe Striker Architect, where Architect has to pick up the May. But I could see them running Rascal just because he's the more of a vocal player.
I think there's a better chance you see. Well, okay. Is there a better chance we see Super stay in the lineup a ton or Sinatra? I would say Super without a doubt.
Yeah, I would say Super. It seems I can't think of many scenarios where Sinatra would stay in the lineup. But also, I was talking about this a little bit on the Watchpoint show that we did about Stage 4. Is that people think of Sinatra as this Tracer and Zarya 2-trick essentially.
He played Genji a ton, like.
Well, he has played other heroes. He just hasn't had an opportunity to play them in matches because it's been the GOAT's meta for so long. I mean, if the guy came out and just played Genji or Tracer or Widow or something like that, you'd think he was throwing because that's just not what the meta is allowed for. But he's developed as a player a lot, so it's possible that he's got picks that he's much better than what we previously knew.
Yeah,
but the question here is not whether Sinatra can play other heroes. It's is he better than Architect and Striker?
Well, I think the question is, can he play those other heroes? Because you want him in there for his leadership qualities, probably, if he can play them.
I don't think he's a huge leader for the team.
He can play Sombra as well.
I think Super is a bit of a leader. I think
if you wanted like Sombra Tracer, like who would you play? You probably play Striker and Sinatra.
Yeah. Just to Johnny's point though, they do call Sinatra the leader of the team.
Really?
Like and when you listen to their comments behind the scenes, Sinatra's the guy that is telling them like, okay, remember guys, keep it together going into this game. Like this is what we need to remember, this kind of stuff. Like I would consider him their emotional leader. Super's more of like the fucking like dudes, we're absolutely pumped off, like we own that game. And then Sinatra's like but keep it together, like keep focused for the next game, guys, we got this.
I don't know, I still think Sinatra is replaceable in that regard.
Maybe,
but you know.
And then I guess the one team we didn't talk about is the Dragons. They end up winning the stage. We hardly even talk about them. What do we think about them?
Whatever, you know.
Hot take, they're going down. I don't know how hot that is, honestly, but that was the team that I said might go down the most.
Okay, I want to hear your reasoning here because one, they have a good Orisa Hog. Two, they have the best, or not the best. I'm not gonna say the best. That's your take. One of the best DPS duos in the league, and they can play Orisa Hog. So
here's my reasoning: is that at the moment, they are arguably the best team in the world, and I don't think they'll ever be that in stage 4. So they're naturally going to slip. How far they're going to slip? They have further to slip because they're so high up. I'm so disappointed because you're like, they're the best team in the world. They're going to slip naturally. Well, like, I don't think they are. If they slip to number 2, that's not a take. They're not going to slip to number 2. I think they're going to slip to quite mediocre. But here's the other reason. No, but point being is that you saying they're going to slip is not as much. Well, that's why I think Spark and Shanghai are going to be the 2 potential biggest losers. That they're going to slip from being like arguably could have won whatever championship you would run at the time to being middle of the pack. Like that is a big loss. I mean, that's the definition of like a slip. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, if you had Shanghai as number 1, then sure. Right. No, I don't. I think Shock is the number going 1 into team, your Shanghai's arguable. Yeah, going into I think it's the off tank. It's the off tank again. I'm wondering who they're going to run there because Youngjin plays Hog, but he doesn't play any of the other off tank heroes. The guy played Hog, you don't need to. Doofus, Brig. Maybe you don't need to. Maybe you no. Maybe you just only run Orisa Hog. Maybe, but then surely that's counterable eventually. Like this is the question: is maybe it's like running Kib for the Philadelphia Fusion. It's such a high risk, high reward strategy to try something like that, and their off tanks are not that great. I'm not a big fan of Envy. This is why I like London as much as Johnny made fun of me. I think London actually they can play Orisa Hog. Jester's got a stick Orisa, like Fury's got a sick Hog, and then they can just go to dive if they need it. No, I don't make fun of you. I put them as number 5 in my power rankings going to the big thing to look at. Are the 2 new best off tanks in the world. Who? Fury and Cheobin. Oh yeah. Even if you didn't have them at number 2, number 1 and 2 previously, with the heroes that have to be played now, I think Fury and Cheobin just fucking run with it. They are easily. But the story for London has never been how good are the players, because them as a team has always looked disappointed. Well, we need to remember as well with the playoff situation and how it's going to work at the play-in, right? The top 12 teams, you just need to make top 12 and you have an opportunity. Yeah. I can foresee a world where a team does just go for a run. Like, even if they end up being the 10th best team, similar to last year where we had the 5th and 6th seeds in the finals. In fact, it's way more likely with the way that the meta's changing. If you really don't believe in the Shock or let's say the Spark that much, there's a really good chance that both of those teams are with a first round bye from the Titans in YXL. Like they're playing against a team who is coming in really hot as a 7 or 8 seed. Like to Bren's point, like there is a real for argument's sake, like the Shock could end up playing the a hot London Spitfire in the first round. That would be a pretty if it's all become very variable. It could be pretty dangerous.
I think though, if you're the Shock and like, let's say the Spark, we haven't really talked much about the Gladiators or Soul, just but you have a good cushion here to get this thing the right direction. Like you have a lot of scrim time. You have actual live games. You have a little bit of a break when the play-ins happen, right? Like, so you have some time to make some things
I would
work.
not be focused on stage 4. If I've already locked in my spot in the top 6, essentially, if you're one of those top teams, I would just be experimenting for playoffs.
I also would wonder how much teams, with the heads up that they knew this was happening, practiced for this during the stage. Like, have the Shock been practicing 2-2-2 against one of these teams?
Someone was telling me recently. Who was telling me that they actually did? When they came into the playoffs, they were practicing for 2-2-2 at the same time as being able to practice. Huh?
Outlaws.
Well, no, I'm saying someone said that about the Shock. No, somebody was telling me about the Shock recently.
I actually heard that as well.
Yeah, because the top. I'm looking at the leaderboards. I want to say the top like 5 or 6 teams really only scrim each other. It's kind of like a little scrim circle. So like they could have easily have like thrown some 2-2-2 games in there because they're all kind of locked in.
Yeah.
So why not?
Interestingly, we were talking to some of the teams, and it seemed like a minority of the teams decided to practice 2-2-2 compositions in stage 3, but we didn't really see that many. I mean, who did we see? Boston, essentially.
New York,
maybe Chengdu played a bit.
New York on their map 4s would always play 2-2. Like if you think about like their Dorado, they would always play like on a Zen with like a Hanzo different. Like once New York had actually won the series, they would start playing.
But one of the other things that we discussed was we were talking with Custer, and he said the fact that they knew 2-2-2 was coming let them play weirder stuff because they knew that they didn't have to get good at goats for the playoffs. There was no possibility of just grinding one composition long term, so you might as well play what gets you short term results.
I actually think if the teams didn't know, like at the beginning or prior to stage 3, whenever they found out, stage 3 probably would have been primarily goats. Like you would have probably have not seen as many teams experiment.
Maybe.
I think
maybe
because well, also I think there's a lot of I was speaking to somebody the other day where they kind of saw Chengdu win a bunch of games, and they were like, "Well, our players are better than Chengdu's."
Yeah,
like,
that was Houston.
That was Houston.
Okay, yeah. And so let's just try and play what Chengdu does, but better.
Yeah.
And I think that's where, like, once you started to get like Ding and Diem on like the Pharah and the Sombra pick, you're like, "Oh yeah, we can make this thing happen." Like,
yeah, for sure. What games are we opening up with? What games are we looking at?
Let's talk about week 1 real quick.
I need to get water because I'm
some pretty fire ones, I think.
Yeah, there is London Shock. Yeah.
Day one, you got NYXL Gladiators.
That could be interesting to figure out what people are playing.
Shanghai Titans.
Oh, Shanghai Titans is going to be a great game.
Baby.
Honestly, as wild as this sounds, we've got Charge playing against Fusion.
That's what I'm excited for. I want to see what the Fusion look like.
Well, also, I think people have kind of forgotten that Guangzhou beat Shanghai right before they went on that run to win stage 3. And Guangzhou were looking hot with Happy playing an outrageous Widowmaker. So you've got Happy against Carpe in this to really see, like, is Fusion going to be good in this meta? Is Guangzhou an incredible team? This should be a
Friday.
sick match.
Friday, you got Bren's new favorite team, the Justice, going up against the Defiant.
Never said that. Never.
Yeah, I believe you did a whole segment on it.
Actual fake news.
London, Dallas will be interesting.
Will it?
I think it will. I'm interested to see what Dallas decides to run. Like they have.
All of these matches are going to be interesting because we don't know what we're expecting.
Yeah,
but in terms of quality, you got Soul Shock. Yeah. Again, Netgear, we're out of Rumble people. Are we going to be doing some hosting or something to do with that?
Chengdu Philly. What the hell? How do you even game plan for the Hunters?
That's going to be a silly
game
match.
Plan for them before.
I have no idea.
I don't know what the fuck the Hunters are going to do.
Hangzhou, they played once this week against Atlanta.
I don't think that's
on the Sunday. We've got Shanghai versus Seoul as well.
That's going to be a good game.
That's going to be tight. All right. Yeah. I mean, these games are actually
don't talk about the rest of Sunday, but yeah, that first one's good.
Match of the week, baby.
Match of the week, yo. Get it. I'll be there.
Yeah.
Charge
playing against London will be a good one as well because the Charge will play against the Charge have 3 games Oh no, sorry, I'm looking ahead to the next week.
Charge of 3 games in a week. What do they do?
Yeah,
They sit out the next 2 weeks. Like,
shut your mouth, Matt. I was looking ahead to August the 1st.
Yeah, Johnny, what's your 2 matches to look out for this week?
2 matches to look out for this week. Let me tell you, Matt Morello, I'm so excited for these 2 matches in particular that I'm looking out for. I'm gonna tell you right now, as I'm looking at the schedule, that is going to be the.
If you guys want to run a podcast like ours, just have the Overwatch League website open and just start chatting with
Gladiators Excelsior is going to be pretty Paul.
Gladiators Excelsior, okay.
Gladiators Excelsior is going to be one of the matches I'm looking forward to.
What the hell do the Gladiators do?
I think they're going to be an exciting team.
Sure for May.
And
Sure for Decay?
Yeah, sure for Decay. Sure for May.
I think Soul Shock could be pretty cool.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
It's all right, Johnny. You did well.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
nice job, Johnny.
Thank
that
you,
was
sir.
pretty much all the games we.
Should we wrap it up?
Yeah. I have to take Chelsea to the airport, but
Yeah, man, I'm like napping. I'm like.
this is somebody asked if you were asleep about halfway through the show in the chat, and I for a second I actually thought you may.
Multiple people did. They also thought I was drugged up. Not drugged up. Just pretty tired.
Never taking drugs.
Yeah.
No, it's a good episode. We had a lot to talk about.
Yeah, it was fun.
Seagull with the big birthday host.
Hey,
We gotta pass the love on to somebody else though, Johnny.
No, pass it on to me.
Oh, you're gonna continue to play.
Yeah, we're gonna do placements on PTR.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Then maybe you should continue your stream, but host Josh first, and then restream, and then start your stream back up. That'd be a good idea.
Yeah, the 5 head.
I knew about half of what you meant, but yes.
Yeah.
Is Sigma on PTR right now? Can you
Yeah.
low key with Sigma?
Yeah. You can
Yeah,
roll
I
it.
know
Yeah.
Okay,
Let's
I'm
do
gonna
it.
play.
Jump in, baby.
let's
do it.
Jump in,
Alright,
baby.
is that the end of the episode? Wrap it up.
Yes. End of the episode. We'll see you guys next week. Episode 6. I'm pretty sure, right? Today was episode 5.
Yeah, you
That's
nailed it,
it.
man.